Run up show.
Hey AJ.
What's up, man?
Do you ever think about like, what if like the internet no longer existed tomorrow, and
God, the world would be such a better place. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably more productive.
No, totally joking. I love the internet. You can't take it from me.
Oh, from your cold dead hands, huh?
Yep,
can be arranged.
From my cold dead paws.
Yeah.
You know, it would be cool though
if we started a magazine without Parole magazine.
No.
Oh, I want. That's where this whole conversation was going. I want to start without Parole magazine. God damn it! And we can't do that with the internet still alive. We need to take down the internet so we can start a magazine.
Oh, I see. Oh, I like this plan actually. See? Now I'm interested.
It's devious. You didn't know that I was behind the whole thing, did you?
It's not the end, it's the journey. That sounds fun. No, we should make a VR game. We should make a VR game about tubing down a river.
I'm so fucking done with you. Let's start the show. Crazyphone in the chat says, "Love it when GamesCast lines up perfectly with a long drive." I want like just kind of want to like play soothing music and it'd be like the sound of rain, right? We're gonna have to make him like get out and take a nap somewhere, maybe go to the bathroom.
Listen.
Okay. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Wise Friday right here on Without Parole. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern. Usually, we do it right here on YouTube for people who like to watch with your eyes. For those who like to listen with your ears. Shit, that made too much sense. Don't forget, you can watch this thing on podcast services with your ears. Thanks to our good friend James Yeah, who uploads this to his own detriment every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, thanks to our good friend Gamecat Henry, Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry, in fact, who puts timestamps into this thing after the fact. Wouldn't happen without him. So we're so very thankful for him.
He needs to change his name to Foundation Gamecat Henry.
Is it Journey to Foundation reference?
Just Foundation, which has something to do with Journey to Foundation.
My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole, and over here to my left, your right, is AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. And I know that Mondays usually suck. In fact, your Mondays for the last 2 weeks might have sucked, and we apologize. But not today, Brian, because we are here to make sure their Monday sucks. Just a little bit less.
I can't tell where the camera is. Like over here? No, over here? Here? Where's the center? When I point,
your camera's going haywire, and it's just like blurring like crazy.
Sweet. The more it blurs, the less you can tell how old I am. It's not true. Who got their VR lenses? I saw Carol's Beast in the chat. So they got my Hans VR lenses. They are great. That's awesome to hear. So far, I've only got I've got the Hans and the VR Rock, and I haven't even tried the VR Rock. I'm waiting until the real optics show up so I can do my comparison video. But it's really good. Everyone seems to be enjoying the Hans VR lenses, which is really nice.
I've got Hans VR lenses on the way, Brian.
Woo!
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. So I recently got a new prescription and got some glasses, which I don't wear glasses all the time, but I wear them for like driving, and I like to wear them for gaming. And I've been playing PSVR2 with glasses in the headset, and I'm happy to report that they do fit in the headset quite well. But I can see the advantage of having these lenses, and I'm not just stopping there, Brian. I'm actually going on an accessory craze. At launch, I was very focused on the games and stuff, and I was like, why are people already like getting into accessories and stuff? But they are important. They are nice to have, and yeah, man, I'm exploring tons of accessories right now to enhance your PSVR2 experience, and I can't wait to share what I've found. And I've got Hans VR lenses on the way. Shout out to them and Eric over there. And yeah, man, I think while it seems like it's an obvious thing that would make your gaming better, it's like no, like this might be something that a lot of people actually really, really need to get.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to try it out because it makes a huge difference. Just wearing glasses in the headset, like I'm like, oh my god, like this is actually, it really is like sharper and clearer than I thought. Like some of the blur that I thought was the game was actually definitely just my vision.
Yeah, I found that too. And of course, for people who say that they have light leak problems with the headset, like not having to wear glasses means you can push the headset closer, which means it's more likely that you're going to cover up any of that space with the rubber gasket around the outside. So definitely a good idea to not have to wear glasses if you don't have to.
I think I'm going to draw the line at gun stock, though. I don't know. Do you have any interest in these gun stocks? I don't. Because I don't.
I mean, I have a PSVR1 gun stock for the aim controller. And like I used it once and was like, what is everyone doing? Like it just, it wasn't for me.
There's like an obsession with gun stocks though. And like, but to me, it's like, okay, do they quickly detach from the thing? Because you're like manually reloading. Like to me, manual reloading is like super important for immersion, for the fun of it. Like I've been playing the shit out of Light Brigade lately, dude. I have really been playing a lot of Light Brigade, and I'm just like, yeah, like if the thing is stuck to this, like this is not gonna work. So I could see it working for something like the aim controller, but I don't know. Even with the sharpshooter, I never used to use the stock that would like extend out of it.
Yeah.
But there's
for lots of 5 people out there who know what you're talking
about. Luckily, there's a lot of cool accessories though. That can't wait to share.
I've seen some of these gun stocks in action for PSVR2. I don't know which ones are which because I don't pay that close of attention. But yeah, they do seem to slide in pretty easily. Some are held magnetically, and so that way, like when you have to reach down and grab a grenade and throw it, it's like you're good, or take the thing off to do a manual reload. It does seem like they've thought of all these angles, and like anything else, with a little bit of practice, I think it becomes second nature. So I'd be curious because. Yeah, we had it good with the aim controller, but with the sense controllers, you do have to use a little bit of imagination sometimes when you're walking around pretending that you're holding a shotgun, because you just have to kind of place your hands where you think they should be instead of just locking them into place. So I'd be down to check it out. I just didn't feel like we had much of a need for it last time.
Yeah.
AJ, a question in the chat from Greg Hodges with the $2 tip says, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Switchback update or VR Skater? Well, Greg, I hate to be the one that disappoints you today, but there's no chance in hell that VR Skater's coming out before Switchback update. It looks like VR Skater is going to be pushed off, and Switchback will finally be here this Friday, 21st. What's
Thursday?
Friday.
Friday.
I looked at the calendar.
That's what
I cheated.
What I said.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So, but man, before we get into the news, there's a couple things we want to take care of on this very lovely Monday. We want to thank everybody, of course, for hanging out here. Everybody, make sure you go over to our Discord. Click the link in the description below. That's where all of our Sunday multiplayer meetups happen. It looked like there was a good turnout for Gran Turismo 7 yesterday. If you're one of those people out there that's complaining because you're like, oh my god, I love these PSVR2 games. I love Knock, right? But there's never anyone playing. Well, guess what? We've got a pretty damn good community, and it's way easier to get a game going on our Discord than it is pretty much anywhere else. So make sure you keep that in mind. Go join our Discord. Also, while you're clicking links in the description below, make sure you click the link to PSVR Underground. That's AJ's channel. Go subscribe to him. Doing great work over there, or so I've been told.
Hey man, no, I've it's been awesome. No, it's picked up. I've still been really busy. I've still got these work projects going on, but I do the Thursday, the interactive chat every single Thursday, rain or shine, and then brought back Saturday night live stream. Number 98, Brian. 98 Saturday night live streams in the books. Oh. And I did something a little bit different. I did AJ's choice instead of viewer's choice. And I played Light Brigade, Zombieland, Masternoid, and Runner.
What did you call
games
me?
that you're a Masternoid.
Yeah, I've been called that before. It's not the first time I've heard it. Well, that's nice. That's a good way to celebrate episode 98.
Yeah. I think for 100, I got to think of something special. So
yeah. Well, in case you didn't know, this is episode 791 of PSVR Gamescast Live. So thank you for being here on this very special occasion, AJ. We're celebrating big
791.
I have no idea. It feels like a million.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It probably is 700 something.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched AJ's channel, apparently you've got a lot to catch up on. So go on over there and subscribe. Slapping that ass with a $5 tip says, got my Hans VR lenses in the mail today. Gonna try them as soon as I get home. Want to slap the ass. I'm glad you're in on the joke because slapping that ass with the crystal clear vision.
Slapping the bass is his name,
that's exactly what it is. It's slapping the bass. But the first time I saw it, I was like, looks like slapping, because I don't know if you can be a little dyslexic, but I think I'm definitely maybe more than a little. It looks like slapping the ass. Just saying. Yeah, good stuff. So here's a weird thing. I was having height adjustment problems in Synapse. I was way too short. In a few other games, I was way too short. And it's really a problem with games like Synapse, where you have to hold down the options button to recalibrate, and that's how it knows how tall you are. There's no like in-game option to adjust your height. And I was like, what is causing this? And it seemed, and it was happening in so many games, and it all kind of lined up with the first day that I put my Hans VR lenses in. I was like, what's the correlation there? Like, well, how is there a connection between VR lenses? But I'll tell you, man, I took out the VR lenses. I unplugged my PSVR2. I reset my PlayStation 5. I plugged the thing back in, and everything was fine again. So somehow the VR lenses will occasionally make me way shorter than I'm supposed to be in game, and there's no way to fix it. And I checked my room. In the pastor mode, I checked out my room, made sure the floor was in the right place. Everything was fine. I even deleted that and created a new profile. Very strange. So if anyone else is having those problems, please let me know, because this is the kind of stuff I want to report on once I review these lenses. Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Gamecat, the $2 tip in the chat says, so where's AJ's Retro Corner show?
It's in the Discord.
Yeah. It's a good place for it. Yesterday we were hanging out in voice chat, and AJ was streaming retro games, like fucking strange ass retro games too, like stuff we've never heard of.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning to do that. I just wanted to show you something, and yeah, we ended up making a whole day out of it, and it was great.
Yeah, it was a good time. Everybody got their requests in. I get to watch AJ play Splatterhouse for a while. That was fun. Splatterhouse 2 specifically.
Good game.
Yep. And what was the but the Batman arcade game, which I had never seen. Like the second level is just like the car drives itself and you just shoot. Like,
dude, every Batman game needs this was the most disappointing thing about the VR game, was like you never got in the Batmobile.
Yeah. It's
like that's what everybody wants to do. Like if they're playing as Batman. Like you gotta have a Batmobile section. This game was from like 1992 and had a freaking Batmobile section, man. Of course, I think the new games, the Arkham City series, they did that a little bit more, but
yeah. Arkham. Hold on a second. So it was Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then Arkham Knight.
Origins? No, Arkham
Origins was the one that wasn't even made by Rocksteady, that we all pretend like doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, no, there were some good car segments, but all right, AJ, we gotta get this show on the road, and like we do every Monday, man, there's a whole group of people that we want to thank. Isn't that right?
That's right, Brian. We'd like to thank those who support us in another way by changing your name to something Gamecat related, or something Gamecat adjacent, as you at something Gamecat adjacent likes to say. And this week we have 2 new Gamecats to welcome to the Gamecat Dojo. Still got it. 2 weeks off, doesn't matter. Starting with Serial Killer, the National Game Kitten Day.
Yeah, so bing. Last he had changed his name last week, and we didn't do his show last week, so this is actually from last week. In the last Monday, if you can believe it, the Monday that we skipped, it was National Kitten Day. Aw. What a horrible episode to skip. We're never going to do that again. Okay, whatever. Who else we got?
We've also got procrastinating Gamecat. I love it.
Hold on. Bing. Sorry, I was procrastinating bringing it up. It's only fair, right? Yeah. Now there's a Gamecat after my own heart. I love procrastinating.
Everyone keeps talking about how pale I look, which is weird because I'm pretty sure I'm like tanner than you in real life.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the lights in here. As always, it's like I don't know.
You've got the power of the devil in you.
Yeah, I think AJ looks normal. I look red, but that's just the lights. My walls are red. If I turn the camera, you'll see I have red walls, and so I think when the light reflects off of them, it like creates this like Kramer at the living above the chicken place.
I could get way whiter.
Whoa!
you want to see white, baby?
Oh my god! I will give you $20 if you do the rest of the show like that.
Oh no way! That is so bright. $25. Oh my god!
It's my final offer.
I have to keep this thing on the lowest setting. Oh, sorry, I can't see anymore. Gonna have to retire.
The funny thing is we started this. I started the call by screaming in your ears. And you're like, I can't hear anything. So we're 17 minutes into the show. And now you're deaf and blind. This isn't going well, AJ. We've had better Mondays.
Oh man, yeah, this is true. It's not a good start for me today.
All right, I think we're caught up on tips.
It's just a floating beard now.
Guys, don't forget, if you love us almost as much as we love you, then and you want to show your support by changing your name to Gamecat, make sure you do that on Google or YouTube so that when it shows up in our comments, you're something whatever the Gamecat. Be creative, man, or don't. I don't care. I would just be like Brian the Gamecat. Like I'm very plain Jane. And if you do that, make sure you leave a hashtag Gamecat in the comments below and any Without Parole video so I can search it out and find it for next week's show when we do this all over again. We do every Monday. That's right. AJ,
Brian,
I hear this Firewall news.
Yes, there is. Incoming. There's no news. There's no news today. What that news is, we don't know yet, Brian.
Yeah.
But no, actually, several people shared with us. Thank you for tagging me and letting us know and posting in the Discord and everybody who keeps us up to date with everything that when we're just laying back and doing nothing.
It takes
just
a village,
lazy.
It takes a village.
We just take credit for everything. We don't do shit. No, I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, man. So Firewall devs posted in their Discord a big message, and part of that message said to keep your eyes peeled Wesday.
Oh, Wesday. That's perfect. Oh my god, we keep disappearing. There we are. We're back. What
do you think it's going to be, Brian? You think we'll finally get a release date, a release window? You think it's going to be footage of the manual reload? You think they're going to include that at launch or something? What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know anything. How about this? I don't know anything. So this is all speculation. My guess is that it's not going to be anything interesting. The last 2 or 3 times we've seen Firewall, it's been like, oh, we've seen this footage before. Oh, they're describing features that we've heard about before. Oh, I don't know. It would be nice if they showed some more gameplay footage, maybe some new maps, things that are unique to Ultra, maybe explain some of the new game modes. I don't know, that kind of stuff. I don't think we're getting a release date or even a release window. My guess is that maybe they'll talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that we haven't heard about, and I'm gonna guess that's going to be on a PlayStation blog post because that's how things are done.
Yeah. They've, I don't know what's going on. They've had a couple announcements and it's just been kind of just like, very little new info, maybe like a little bit of new gameplay. It's like, I don't know. It's really strange. So it'd be nice to get something exciting, some big news, whether it be a release date. Obviously, that's like the biggest news they could probably drop because we have a feeling the game is going to be good. But it would be cool to get a look at, like you said, some of these new features, something like the single player mode, or the, what is it, like single player or co-op or something, PvE mode. I'd really like to see some more of that. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah. It feels like at this point a game that shouldn't have been revealed so early. I think it's one of those that got revealed early because they need to sell the PlayStation VR2. They need to let people who are PSVR1 faithful or PC gamers or other VR gamers or maybe other non-VR gamers who had heard about Firewall and said, "Oh man, that sounds cool. I wish I had a PSVR." And then letting people know that that's all happening again on PSVR2 was important to help sell the PSVR2. So I think that was their reasoning behind it, but I think it's kind of come back to bite them in the ass because I think it was just a game that was revealed way too early. I
don't know. It should still do really well once it launches. I mean,
I think so, but right now, so here's.
I think the initial announcement was fine. Big news, of course, but the way they're just kind of slowly dropping like one small little crumb at a time versus, like an actual big announcement is definitely. You look at like what Behemoth did or what Skydance did with Behemoth, and it's like they had like the big stage announcement, everything, and then they disappeared. And I feel like that's I don't know. Next time we hear from Behemoth, we can probably expect to be excited and get some big news out of that.
Sorry, I've got sirens on my head. I was like killing the microphone level, hoping that it would go away, and it's not going away. So
the other thing I was going to say, Brian, I'm sorry, was that
perfect time.
Like I think we've been kept in the dark about enough stuff that like I'm okay with this. I don't need to be kept in the dark about every last little thing going on with PSVR2 because I feel like we're pretty kept in the dark about a lot until a PlayStation blog post comes out or something. So to me, it's like, well, at least we got something to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would feel better about all of this stuff if we kind of had a better idea. Obviously, the one of the things that we complain so much about Sony regarding is the lack of transparency. And so I guess I kind of want to have my cake and eat it too, right? I want to know about more games that are coming so that these games that feel like they're further out don't seem like a big deal, but at the same time, I don't want to know about too much. So I guess there's no pleasing me, AJ, which I've heard many times throughout my life.
And imagine if they didn't get that feedback about the manual reloading. Like, that's a big deal, man. I've been harping away about how important I think manual reloading is and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, I just can't imagine, after playing Resident Evil, after playing Light Brigade, after playing, like, a bunch of games, I can't imagine just pressing a button to reload anymore. Like, I get that was, it made sense with the aim controller. But yeah, so it's, I don't think, I think it's okay. I think at least they're getting some early valuable feedback as to, what people's expectations are, what they want. And, if they take the time to apply that, then that's good.
Yeah. I'm going to stand by the last statement I made about this, and that's that there's no way in hell that they didn't have this ultra mode in mind already. But I think what happened is they heard everybody complaining about it so much that they were like, we just have to spill the beans about more than we wanted to. Which again, I think people should speak up. I think people should voice their opinions on things, and that nothing's ever going to change otherwise. If we just sit here and say, oh, you fucked us, but we'll take it, then we're going to just keep getting fucked. We're just going to keep taking it, AJ. Samson143VR with a $2 tip.
I want to talk to Samson. Dude, I found Samson. I talked to Samson. And he upgraded my weapons in the Light Brigade because the guy that upgrades your weapons, his name is Samson. And I was like, I found Samson.
I was very confused where you're going with this. I was like, you found a drug dealer named Samson? Like, yeah. He says, Kenny Rogers Chicken. Love the Seinfeld reference. That's what that was from. So, thank you, Samson. Anyway, yeah, we'll know more about Firewall to some degree or another when Wednesday rolls around. Maybe,
we'll know something else.
Hopefully
about Firewall.
Yeah, that'll be the headline for Wednesday's GAMESCAST. It'll be, we know something else about Firewall. Wes and I can talk about the new blog post. Not the only news that came out of the world of PlayStation VR today. We got the news from Perp Games early this morning that VR Skater has been delayed yet again, AJ. It was supposed to come out late June, then it got pushed to July 21st, and now again 2 weeks to August 4th. I mean, is this a big deal to you? How excited were you? Was this going to ruin your week?
Well, no, I mean, I was really excited. I'm very excited for this game for sure. But the reasoning behind it is okay, well, it sucks, but I'm okay with. So the reason being is that there was a delay due to them needing some patches with the game, and if especially if they're game breaking or critical patches. They did mention trophy support, but there's more than that, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think they delay the game for trophy patches. There's probably something a little bit more critical, important, I would imagine. And it's this sucks, but I'd rather get the game without any big issues that's going to ruin the experience. And
yeah.
So
I'm sick of reviewing games. I'm sick of reviewing games that get fixed a week or two after launch and then be okay, well, now my review's fucking outdated. I've wasted 20, 30 hours of my life to create something that isn't even fucking relevant anymore. So from that standpoint, I absolutely want these things to be fixed before the game comes out. I got an email from Perp this morning. I'm assuming this is what's already made the rounds. And so, yeah, they mentioned trophy support. They mentioned a few other small things. Made a big point to say this isn't on Sony. And I was like, ooh, you've been watching the show, because all we do is blame shit on Sony. But no, the QA process is, it's for our benefit. It's for the developers' benefits. Make sure the game is right before it comes out. So I had no qualms about that. But what he did say is that
it's not directly Sony's fault, but it kind of, there's still. I've heard, and this is not from any Perp Games or from them, just as from countless other developers, that you cannot patch a game until it releases, until after launch. If you submit a game that's ready to go, it gets uploaded on the store or whatever.
Yeah.
You could not actually patch it before it launches for some reason.
And those are developers not to be trusted, because think about the number of times Wanderer got patched from the time we got it in our hands and the time it actually came out. It got patched 4 or 5 times. They were just working around the clock fixing bugs. And if you ask Reggie from Strange Games, I think people who know what they're doing seem to understand how things work. I think it's very easy to say, oh, we don't know how to do this.
I think I'm sure they were told that, because I've heard this from numerous different developers. So it's Sony's a big company. There's probably tons of people that, are operating this thing. So maybe some sides of it are saying this information and others aren't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. So I was trying to get myself back on track. And that's that, What the email this morning said was that they could have kept the same July 21st release date and just issued a day one patch. They said, but they wanted to make sure that everything was, well tested and made sure that everything was absolutely flawless. So they just decided to give the game the time it deserved and make sure that we have a nice polished experience by the time it came out. So, I'm happy we're not waiting for a day one patch. Who in the chat said we already have it? Robert Lawrence says, you guys already have it on your PS5, don't you? Shockingly, no. And I'll tell you, I was scared. As I've been saying, I think nonstop for 2 months now, ever since I played it on a PS5 dev kit. I was like, man, this is going to take some time to get good at. And in 2 days wasn't going to be enough. Playing it Wednesday and Thursday wasn't going to be enough to have a review ready for Friday. I'm going to have to spend some serious time getting good at this game so that my gameplay footage isn't just absolute trash. I'm sure I'll throw that shit in there too, so you can see how bad I am when I start. But I'm actually happy for the delay personally. From a review standpoint, it means that I have more time to get in there and get good at the game. So now let's ride the game feeling with the $5 tip. Says David Lynch VR mashup idea: Twin Peaks Firewall with me. Oh, hey, that's pretty good. I like that. Instead of Firewalk with me. You Twin Peaks fan, AJ?
No. I don't know what that
I would
is.
have put money. I would have put money on you saying no. I like it. Darth Vader, the Gamecat, with a $20 tip, says manual reloads are so much more immersive, and if you are complaining that it's not good in competitive shooters, then you just need to get good at reloading. That's right. I'm calling you out, Rye Pop. He's calling out Rye Pop. Just kidding. Please don't ban me. So what's
with you there.
What's funny is go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm with them in that like manual reloading is so much more fun and immersive to me. Like it's essential. It's like an essential part of VR. And while I'm okay with accessibility options, it's like like that. I couldn't imagine playing Resident Evil or Light Brigade without doing that. Like it's so much more fun.
Yeah, I think I've gone on quite a little VR journey over the last 7 years or so. I remember when I first started playing Resident Evil 7 on PlayStation VR1, and I remember saying over and over during the Midnight Gamescast or whatever we were doing back then, was that I'm a gamer still. Just because I play VR games doesn't mean I'm not a gamer still. And I want to just sit on the couch sometimes with a DualShock 4 and just be in VR and run around like that. And so the idea of manually reloading anything to me, at least back then, was just, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't fucking fire weapons in real life. Like, this is ridiculous. And having to learn how to do that, I thought was just silly. But, this is, like I said, it's been a journey. And it's, you play games like Fracked, that gives it like this nice little 2-motion thing where it's just arcadey. And then you gradually work yourself into full manual reloads. And I cannot imagine playing Village now without manually reloading those weapons. It feels so good. So I think it's just something that you need to spend time getting better at. I do hope that developers continue to give people the option, though, because I know there's a lot of people, a lot of Brian Pauls out there from 7 years ago who are like, this is just too much. And like, I'm not ready for this. Maybe I'll get to it eventually. So yeah. Have to put a poll up or something. Figure out who's.
You already did that once, and it was like 50% said both, obviously.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then like 20%, 19% said they prefer they prefer automatic reloading.
Well,
but to me, it's just like,
that's good.
Yep.
Nice.
Got you covered.
Paycheck F with the 12 plantain says, good luck with manual reloading in RE4.
I already did. Because I already beat it on the Quest 2.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I like my chances.
Yeah, surprisingly good version of that game. I liked it.
Yes.
I think it gets us all caught up here.
Ours is going to be better, though.
Just heads up, guys, about VR Skater. Super small team over there at Deficit Games. I'm sure we'd love to hold them up to amazing standards of saying, hey, what the fuck you guys doing? Why can't you get your game out when you said it was going to be out? There's like 2 dudes working over there, so I think we can give them a pass.
It is unfortunate timing because next month we have Crossfire, Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
So at least they're starting. Like next month is going to be fucking awesome. If we're kicking the month off with VR Skater. And then we're getting Crossfire and Phasmophobia.
Yep.
Dude, next month is going to rock.
Yeah.
Probably get some other games because they all like to come out at the same time.
Dude, I think the rest of this week is still going to rock. Like, even without VR Skater, we're getting a new Walkabout mini golf course, Laser Layer. We're getting a Room VR, The Room VR, Dark Matter on PSVR2. That comes out the 27th, right? Oh shit! Is that not this week?
Yeah, that's next week. I mean, it's still July, but
okay. Well, then the rest of this week isn't nearly as awesome as I said it was going to be. It's just going to be okay.
Just Walkabout DLC.
Just Walkabout.
And then of course,
Bad Dreams. Else, Bad Dreams on PSVR1. Wait, that's not what you were going to say?
No.
What were you going to say?
The next article to talk about. The next piece of news, Brian.
Take us there, AJ.
That's right, because this week, Switchback. Finally, Looper knows what's up. Looper knows everything. We have finally gotten a release day for the Switchback long-awaited patch, and that is it's a big one. It's a big graphical enhancement to Switchback coming this Friday, Brian. This week.
Nice. Yeah, this is taking the place of VR Skater. VR Skater was supposed to be the 21st. This is going to be the 21st instead. So this is supposed to improve the resolution. It's supposed to improve texture work, lighting, load times. I mean, this is supposed to really kind of do everything that most people complained about, other than the game itself.
Make the game better,
right? And I'm very hopeful that all the work that they put in will cause less distractions for me. Like if I'm not distracted by, oh, why is this so low res? Oh, why doesn't that look very good? Why does that texture just pop in? Like these things that distract you and pull you out of the experience. Maybe I can allow myself to be scared a little bit more. Maybe I can just enjoy the ride a little bit more. And so I am very, very excited to get back into this and with fresh eyes and fresh VR lenses and really kind of take this in the way it was, I guess, meant to launch.
Yeah, I'm going to have a great time playing the first half of the game again. And then I'll just stop there and be like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. They're just going to copy and paste that don't blink room like to 7 other places in the game. They're like, you wanted more? You got more. Okay.
I did want more. Man, so much more of that throughout the game. But now, the first, like I said, the first couple levels I actually really did enjoy, even with all the blur and stuff. So it'll be fun. And I want to give the second half of the game another chance, especially with kind of like, lower expectations, far lower expectations. Maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit more this time around. I still enjoyed the game at launch. I didn't think it was great. I had a lot of issues with it, and I think it has some, problems, but I still, despite these things, I still enjoyed it. There are other people, a very, very small vocal minority, that have said that, they didn't like the game. So it's good, man. It's good. There's nothing to complain about other than it's not as good as Rush of Blood, and we need Rush of Blood remastered.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that after all these years, we'd just have like just a ridiculous number of roller coaster shooters, because Rush of Blood showed that it was just a great formula that you could do a lot with this, and really no one else did it all that well. There was like Roller Coaster Legends 2, which kind of did it, but not even nearly as good as Rush of Blood. And so here we are, and I think the concept alone. Of the fact that it's a horror-themed roller coaster light gun shooter, I was like, you can only screw that up so much, and they did, but not enough for me to dislike it. 7 out of 10 would play again. We have always lived in the Castle Merrycat. Nice name. It says in the chat, wouldn't it be great if they ported Rush of Blood as a free bonus with this latest patch? Don't tease us, man. Don't tease us.
That'd be the best patch ever.
So very mean. It's sort of like when we all bought Zone of the Enders to play the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. It's like that'd be the same exact situation. If you're like, oh dude, we're gonna go buy Switchback so I can go play Rush of Blood on PSVR2. Shout out to Mikey D Cosmo VR Kitty, which is a great name. Left 2 $5 tips in the chat. Didn't say anything in either one of them. If you have something to say, Mikey, just post it in the chat and I will keep my eyes open. Hey, AJ.
Yo.
You been to the viewer takeover section in Discord lately?
Nope, especially not. I've been avoiding it because I saw Jay Meow posted something in there.
Yeah, he's a good
one.
And
I was like, no, I'm good. I'll come back another day when Seek is in there.
Sorry. Rhodey in the chat quotes me and says, you can only screw that up so much. And then he references Darkness Roller Coaster. It's like, oh, right. We did have another one of those and it was terrible. Good point, Rhodey. So in our Discord, you can post questions, and sometimes they become the topic of the entire goddamn show. Like today, Jay Meow posted on Discord. He writes, #viewer takeover. Given that Wanderer and Firewall are both receiving the 1.5 treatment, where we see the perfect version of the original game concept, the initial idea, which was restricted due to technology, scope, in the early stages of VR development, and considering that they're introducing new mechanics, physics, and a full graphical overhaul and 3 new levels, effectively increasing the size of the game. This has all been one sentence, by the way, and there's a semicolon here, so it's technically not over. If Jim Ryan and Shuhei Yoshida came to you tomorrow and asked for 10 PSVR1 games to get this treatment, which 10 would you choose? Okay, before we even continue his very long viewer takeover question, let's clarify what Jay's talking about here, right? Firewall Ultra, as it seems now, they're talking about making the original maps much bigger, evolving the original contractors, the original weapons, the original gadgets, and we've yet to kind of see what's new. So for a lot of people are calling it not quite a sequel, they're calling it Firewall 1.5. Same with Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate, which was an amazing game already, but now the developers are adding climbing in a better physics engine and kind of overhauling the graphics, adding 3 or 4 new areas. And so that's not a sequel either, but it is definitely not just a remake of the first game. It's Wanderer 1.5. And so Jay is asking for us to come up with 10 PSVR1 games. I don't think we're going to do 10, but we'll talk about a few, and we definitely want to hear your opinions in the chat. Which ones would make good candidates? Jay said, my number one choice would be Blood and Truth, but redesigned to have full locomotion in more and longer levels and a more engaging way of delivering the story. #Gamecat Army. AJ, before we get into our own list, what do you think of Jay Meow's suggestion that Blood and Truth gets not only a 1.5 update, but also that the update includes full locomotion? It's no longer a rail shooter. It's just a fucking first-person shooter.
That would be really cool, but I would honestly be happy with just the regular game just remastered. I mean, I thought that this was like so obvious that it was going to be like a launch title or something, like a remastered thing, because they had already patched. They did a PS5 update for it, for the PS4 version running on PS5. And it's a first party studio, and I was certain that this was going to be a thing. But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with just the game as is, but sure, I would totally love a version with some full locomotion. But I think the game is pretty great. The gameplay part, anyways, was fine.
Listen, if we're getting full locomotion in Blood and Truth, then whoever the other person in the car is, they can just be the passenger, right? Because there's so many car sequences where somebody else is driving and you're just shooting everybody all around you. I've said it countless times. In VR, I want to have one hand on the wheel and be in control of that car, and also be the one shooting. It's like that other person can just sit in the back seat, right, and hang out with Tornado, make sure she doesn't jump out of the car, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. If we're going to go with this, we're going to go all the way with it. It's an interesting idea, though, to basically go in and strip down the game enough to make it a different genre entirely. It's no longer a linear rail shooter. But I do feel like it had the makings of something more than that, because it let you go off the beaten path. It let you explore things, open drawers, find collectibles. And so I feel like the DNA is there for an actual full first-person shooter. They just need the time to kind of do that. And so I wouldn't be against it at all. I think this would be a great idea. And I think London Studio was being cautious with Blood and Truth, saying we're scared, we don't want to make people sick, we're going to keep people moving forward for the most part, and they just have to worry about shooting and not walking. And so I think I don't know why a
lot of first party Sony's, a lot of these first party titles from Sony, maybe it was a reaction to rigs, which made a lot of people sick when they started out making these games that were like all crazy locomotion and stuff, and then people said, oh, we get sick from them, and then maybe that's why they started going in this direction. But I don't think that works either. I think but funnily enough, Brian, I know that wasn't the plan, but actually just went through while you were talking.
You had a lot of time. I understand.
I went through the PSVR catalog, and I actually did write down 10 games.
Well,
I could replace one of these with Blood and Truth, though. So I'm gonna replace one of these with Blood.
It's what I do. I mean, I don't know how much time you got on your hands today. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing with my day. See how long this takes. Real quick, Mikey D, Cosmo VR Kitty, who sent 2 tips without a message, said, Brian, I screwed up. 2 tips without a message. Says, Farpoint was by far the most immersed I've ever felt in VR. The aim controller was the main reason. Any chance either will come to PSVR2? I think he's talking about the aim controller and Farpoint as being the 2 things. I think we're out of luck for the aim 2.0. I think that ship has sailed. I think if we were going to see that, that would have launched with Firewall Ultra, and we would have been hearing about that already by now.
Yeah, I do love this. I do like this 1.5 kind of version. You know, it's like what they're doing with Wander. It's huge, man, because it was already an amazing game. Mm-hmm. Same with Firewall, both amazing games, and to not only just have them like ported. It's like so much more than just a port, right? I mean, they're adding like these visual enhancements, and then, you know, some new features. But then there's also new content that, hey, even if you have played these games before, it's like there's new stuff. If you enjoyed it, guess what? There's more stuff now. And there's been some other games, you know, we've gotten some upgraded versions of, like Moss, Rez, Saints and Sinners. But yeah, there's a whole slew of games that could really use this 1.5 treatment, not only to bring back a great game, but to enhance it.
What do you think about Farpoint? Do you think that could be
I would fucking love Farpoint. Are you kidding me? Like, if there was one game I could choose, it'd probably be Farpoint. To have the you know, especially if they added some manual reloading stuff with it, because we've got the orbs now. See, it was made with the, you know, I wouldn't want just like I said, I wouldn't want maybe just like a small port of the, I mean, I'll take anything I could get for Farpoint because I think it's an incredible game. It's one of my favorites ever. But yeah, Farpoint was definitely on my list.
Yeah, I would take an update of Farpoint, but I think all the complaints that have sort of lobbied against Farpoint throughout the years, I would want to be taken into consideration. I say, you know, all the levels when it comes down to it, and I know when people hate when I say this, but it's true. They're all just big fucking corridors that you walk down, and even when they're spread out,
they
are beautiful
wide
corridors.
Yep, with tons of cover and verticality.
Yep, verticality. Are you climbing in this game? No, I want some fucking climbing. Add some climbing to Farpoint. I want to be able to interact with this world a little bit more. I want to feel rewarded when I explore. I want to be able to go further out to the reaches. And when I get there, I want to find more ammo. I want to find little more story bits, right? Like just like a little extra piece of the narrative to kind of
that game has so much story bits in it, though.
Yeah,
like that's what it did. That's what makes that game special.
So chop some of that shit out, right? So I don't have to stand there for 5 minutes and watch holograms talk to each other. Like chop some of that out and hide it in different locations, and so that it becomes you get that reward for exploring. Because dude, I will say that Impulse Gear did an amazing job with this game post-launch, right? The fact that they added an XP system, you could level up every single one of the weapons the more you played with it in any mode. I mean, this was some real love given to that game. Not only that, they added the co-op stuff, they added the PvP stuff. There's a lot going on in Farpoint. So, just, you know, if we're giving it a 1.5 treatment, I'm trying to think of anything they could possibly add to it, and those are the things that come to mind. But there's not a whole lot more I think that game needs.
No, it's pretty great. I mean, you talking about the story and stuff, like you to even initiate the storyline stuff, you're like scanning these like traces of their existence, and then you get like you can, you know, move freely, so you're not like bound to just sit there and watch somebody talk. That's something that would be better applied to Blood and Truth.
Yeah. Blood and Truth was weird, right? Because Farpoint felt like this full-fledged first-person shooter adventure, right? It almost had like this more Metroid Prime element to it, where you're like, I'm going to have some heavy action sequences, but I'm also here for the story. There's the narrative is a driving force, and so Blood and Truth is weird because it's so action focused, and then you just kind of get stuck. You just stop in your tracks when it comes to the story. So I understand what Jamie was saying in his viewer takeover question. It's like you got to find a different way to deliver that, so it doesn't just stop the action like cold in its tracks anymore.
It killed the pacing, like backbreaker to like Bane style to the pacing of that game.
We got Man Bear Pig Gamecat in the chat with a $2 tip. Says, you think System Shock would be great in VR?
Yes. System Shock 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
BioShock, please. I mean, I know BioShock's more like a spiritual successor, but really now. Really.
But Brian, this brings us to my next game that I picked, which is, of course, The Persistence.
I'm changing trailers. You got to run with it.
I was kicking it over to you.
Oh, okay.
But no, man. So The Persistence, obviously, you know, that is a game that was criminally underrated, and I think a lot of it had to do with it being a DualShock only game. You know, it didn't take full advantage of VR, despite being an amazing game. And it was Fire Sprite's, you know, first well, not first game, but it was their big project that Sony allowed them to do or helped them make, and they knocked it out of the park, except for one thing, and that was that it was DualShock only. And yeah, that game should really have gotten the 1.5 treatment.
Yeah, as much as I love it, I would love some more variety in the floors. I would love some more. I would like some more enemies. I'd like a few extra floors, maybe, if they could make that happen. If they could get enough variety in there to make all 6 floors. Let's add 2 more, like completely different. Some bigger boss fights would be great. I mean, these are all things that, you know, I think Fire Sprite themselves would probably say, yeah, if we had the time and the money, we would absolutely do that. But the number one thing, I am just a living, breathing, broken record, AJ. Because I'm going to repeat the same shit I say every time The Persistence comes up. That original demo looked so good and had a completely different art style, and all of the rooms were handcrafted, or most of them were. And I think they realized they just couldn't fucking pull off a procedurally generated or randomly generated floors with that much custom shit in them. And so now that they're like 5 times bigger than they used to be, get that custom shit back in there, make these floors look different, make each of these rooms look different, and really don't make me feel like I'm walking down procedurally generated hallways. Like really, really go hard and make me not even think that.
People didn't like the demo of that game, and I was like, everybody's crazy, man. Like,
who didn't like the demo?
Dude, everybody said they didn't like the demo, and then that they actually liked the real game more. And I was like, I mean, I love the real game, but I was like so surprised at the reaction to the demo there. I was like, what? Like, this is so good. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. That's good.
Honestly, the demo and the game were very similar to me, so maybe I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, I mean the second and third demo were very. I mean, I thought at least very like almost identical to the final game, but who knows? They could have changed it. We play so many games that it's really tough to keep up. I got a couple tips here I want to get caught up on before we move on to the next game. Andrew Bailey with the £2 says Resident Evil 7 with the manual gun handling from Resident Evil 8. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yep. I don't know if we consider that a 1.5, right? Because it's just like updating it for the new controls and new controllers. But man, if they wanted to add some new sections to that game, if they wanted to add, there was one piece of DLC that they never got into VR. So maybe we can call it a 1.5 if they manage to VRifies. Is that a word? VRifies that one piece of DLC? I don't know. Twitcher, the single player Gamecat with the £5 says, I was just trying to repost Mikey D Cosmo VR Kitty's comment for him when you saw it in Reddit. Now I have nothing to say. Here's a tip regardless. Thank you, Twitcher. Dude, I got
Resident Evil 7. Absolutely. That would maybe eclipse Resident Evil Village if it had the same controls.
I think it would. I like there's better weapon variety and I think more or
It's just like the scariest fucking game I've ever played in my life. So it's like
There you go.
one of them, which makes it so much more fun to me.
Yeah, it's funny because both games bring something completely different to the table. Resident Evil 7 was way scarier, and I think it had very interesting characters. In my book, way more interesting characters than Village had. But Village is, man, there's just so much variety in that game.
Adventure, it's more of an adventure.
Variety. Yeah, it does feel that way. I'm going to go a little bit differently here, and since I got Twitcher, the GameCat, the single player GameCat on the mind, I'm going to go with Stride by Joyway. Now this and the reason I'm going the reason I'm going with this is because some games come out and they feel complete, and you like I got what I paid for out of this game, and I think that we could all. I feel like we're owed something by Joyway. I feel like Joyway they brought Stride to PSVR1. We were all super excited for it. They initially priced it at $15, and then they raised the price up to $20. And they basically said that this is, there's a reason for it, right? But they never actually said the words, "Hey, we're going to deliver all the single player content and all the DLC and all these upgrades that we're bringing to Quest and PC or whatever." They didn't say that they weren't bringing that to PSVR1. So a lot of people on PSVR1 felt betrayed. And so this is a much different story than the rest of the games that we're talking about, because this is a game that got a lot of updates and is still going to get a lot of updates. And I think it would be really nice of them to say, "Hey, anyone who bought it on PSVR1, thank you, right? We love that you bought our game, but we also know that we didn't deliver everything that you wanted. So here's a free upgrade for the 7 of you who bought the game on PSVR1 to the PSVR2 version that will get all the updates." And I do think that all between the campaign, all the additional stuff that they've brought, the multiplayer, the social hangouts, all of that stuff would make it a 1.5. It would. I feel like we got Stride 0.5, and this would make it Stride 1.0. I think that would be fair.
I wonder what Jay thinks about this as your pick. I don't know if he played Stride.
I don't know. It was a conversation we were having on Discord today, and it really made me think about it. That like I like the games that Joyway makes, right? I just want them to follow through and actually finish one.
Yeah. I gotta give a nod to Fracked, man.
Yes, that was on my list too.
By End Dreams. Like such a fun game, and I think it would benefit greatly from a 1.5 treatment, and take some of those synapse mechanics and let me replay the skiing levels and give me some more weapons, give me a couple new sections. Despite it being really short, I actually really enjoyed that game, and I just wanted a reason to play it again, because I couldn't really. The platinum trophy was tempting, but it wasn't enough. At least if I want to go back into Synapse right now, it's actually, really, I don't know. the platinum is the only thing I have to go back for at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I feel like if we're gonna make Blood and Truth a game with full locomotion and change the way the story's delivered, then I want to go all out with Fracked. Right, my Fracked 1.5 is going to have 10 times the amount of content, right? And because the cover-based shooting is great, I think we can all agree on that. The arcade-like reloading felt great. The graphics were just beautiful, especially inside the headset. They were colorful. They popped. Had an interesting art style. People complain about the cartoon aesthetic, but this I can't see people complaining about because it just looks so fucking good in the headset. What I want is a full world that's been created that looks like this. It takes us 10, 15 hours to get through, and I want them to go further with this. I want them to give us an inventory, right? Again, reasons to explore, because there were places to explore in Frack 2 that didn't give us much. Give us an inventory system. Give us some sort of smaller puzzles to solve on the way. Nothing crazy, right? But just a little bit here and there to flesh it out, make it feel like a really, really full game. Because I feel like they did everything else perfectly. They got the other mechanics down. So just push it a little further and see what Fracked could be. I'm worried we will never see a Fracked 2 because Fracked.
Oh,
1,
I'm not expecting a Frack 2. Who's expecting that? I mean, like, yes, we all want it to happen, but nobody's actually expecting that, are they?
I don't think so. I mean, we've yet to see a sequel from End Dreams. But
it was a great kind of one-off titles. That's kind of like what they've been doing, is just like really awesome one-off titles. It's like expecting a fucking sequel to Phantom Covert Ops. It's like, what? No,
what's wrong with that?
Do that?
Let's do that too and get out of the fucking kayak. Right? Let me get out of the kayak, AJ.
I just don't think that's their MO, man. What I would like to see is just give me like a challenge mode of the skiing levels. Like, I really would be happy with just give me a reason to replay the skiing levels, like time trials or something.
And give me the poles back. Before the game launched, we had poles to ski with, and then like poles. The day one patch, it was like, wait a minute, where are the ski poles? Is that a bug? And they were like, no, we just got rid of them because they didn't do anything. I was like, give them back to us. We need ski poles.
I really will. I hope to see. I would love to see Fracked remastered with challenges for the ski mode, and then I want to see it in a bundle. I want to see the End Dreams PSVR2 bundle with Fracked, Synapse, and Ghostbusters. Like, that'd be a sick disc to have, man.
Sure. I mean,
or download.
Unless Ghostbusters turns out to be shit, and then you're like, wait, 2 great games and this piece of crap.
Oh, I don't think Ghostbusters is gonna be shit. Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, well, we have lots of questions. we don't even know the moment-to-moment gameplay in Ghostbusters yet.
I don't think I have any questions about how long the game's going to be.
And what's your estimate on that? 4 to 6 hours.
1 to 3 hours.
Do you think that because it's a multiplayer-focused game, they're going to be able to kind of lengthen the game clock artificially by saying, well, we are with friends, and because it's a multiplayer thing, they can kind of do the after the fall thing and be like, well, this is you're rewarded in some way or another for replaying these levels with friends.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be like unlocks, costumes, things like that. So yeah, it'll have a little bit of padding with it. But
wait, is this the first multiplayer End Dreams game? Wow, I didn't consider that. Well, hopefully they've been paying attention. Hopefully they've been playing some Phasmophobia. Hopefully they've been listening to GamesCast Live, because we've had a lot of good suggestions for them. Yeah, Phantom Covert Ops, bring that shit over. It was only on Quest and I think PC, or just Quest, but I played that one because Wes and I were talking about Quest games that we wanted on PSVR2 for an episode, I don't know, like a year ago or something. And so I played that one, and it was really good. It's really good. I mean, I'm disappointed I couldn't get out of the kayak, but still, for what it was, it's a game you can play sitting down, just hang out, shoot some bad guys, be all like Metal Gear Kayak. It's good stuff.
It's a lot of there's so many games. I mean, you could say this about at least a quarter of the library, probably. It's like stuff like Catch and Release.
Oh my god!
With multiplayer,
more lakes,
more lakes, more environments. He wanted to do that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I've got two. I mean, yeah, people have talked about like wanting like Star Wars Squadrons remastered. More levels, things like that. Could be pretty cool. More maps, more modes. Dreams, Brian, like which obviously won't happen.
I feel like now we're just talking about ports. That we're like, we want these ports with upgraded controls.
Well, I mean, you would have more tools to use with Dreams. You'd have the PSVR2 rumble and adaptive triggers, and God, people would get so sick making stuff. Right. But yeah, multiplayer and stuff. But obviously, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'll throw one more rapid fire one out there. Zing, The Land Beyond.
Yeah. Again, another title that like was already beautiful, that already had a ton of content, that already felt like a full-fledged game, that doesn't really need any updates. Just needs to take advantage of the new, the new headset, higher resolution, so a little bit of some haptics in the headset. Yeah, can you imagine
But
what it would feel like to change night into day and day into night? With a little bit of headset haptic feedback. I think they could really utilize that.
Oh my god, I would love that. But there's two games that I think I would. These are probably the top of my list.
Number one.
Yeah, number 1A was one we talked about earlier, and that's Rush of Blood, man. Like Rush of Blood is still one of my favorite VR games of all time. And you know, if it would have gotten the 1.5 treatment added, you know, it was such a surprise to get Switchback that I'm like, wow, like this was actually more possible to get a Rush of Blood remaster than I thought it was. It's amazing that we didn't. I know they've I guess moved on from the Until Dawn series, have they?
Well, the Until Dawn series was is Sony's IP, and so that's. I mean, I would guarantee that's why we got the Dark Pictures themed Switchback.
Yeah, but I mean Rush of Blood would be. Imagine if they added the extra levels, you know, the good ones from Switchback into Rush of Blood. It'd be some great additional levels. You know, new look, new redesigned UI, like, you know, better tracking, more weapons, a lot of stuff new, like, you know, a boss rush mode or something, and just the traditional path of, you know, some games that get remastered or remade would take.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that they did such a good job in Rush of Blood 1 with like kind of covering every fear you could think of that it was every fear I could think of at the time, and then sitting back and going, well, what other things could they do? And I do feel like they're talented enough to kind of give us all these new levels with that kind of tackle more fears, and I think it could be a lot of fun.
I did always like your idea of, like, you know, your idea for Rush of Blood 2 was always pretty good too.
Oh, like just having the full amusement park to explore, and then you could get on rides, and which is, I mean, looks like what Happy Funland is going to be. Yeah, obviously a much smaller team and a much lower budget, but it will be interesting to see how that goes, if it captures the vibe that I'm looking for. So you've got another one, but I've got another one first. Okay. And that's,
of course, I got like 7 out right there, so okay. I think you deserve at least one.
I'm gonna go with Everybody's Golf because Ooh. Talk about a game that almost delivered everything that we wanted. It looked beautiful. It felt really good. It took this arcade golf game that I feel like anybody could pick up and play, and it really forced you to examine how to swing and, like, what are you doing? Where's this slice coming from? Like, why? Like, I am not a golfer, but I spent so much time perfecting my swing in VR that I was like, this is no longer some arcade game that anyone can pick up and play. It feels like a golf sim, and I loved it just as much as I love Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds on PS3, which was my favorite Hot Shots game.
Ooh, I have to play that.
And this needs multiplayer, big time. Right? Because, I mean, we love Walkabout Mini Golf. However, getting in there by yourself and playing around, not nearly as much fun. It's 10 times more fun to get in there with 2 or 3 or 4. That's it. Don't play with more than 4 people. It just takes too long. But with 4 people, man, like, Everybody's Golf could be a lot of fun. And there were 3 courses and they were great, but I needed like 20 courses. I can't believe that we get caddy DLC. We got DLC for different caddies, AJ, but not for more courses. Like, come on.
Yeah, it needed a tournament mode too to play against AI. That's what the AI, instead of caddies, let me play against those people. And yeah, like every golf game has had a tournament mode. I mean, these are, you know, play against a single player campaign like AI, and then you have multiplayer option. Like, this is what a full-fledged game usually has.
Right.
In this day and age.
And if we're gonna go for it, then let's go all the way. I will drive the golf caddy, the golf cart, right? Not the caddy. I don't want to drive the caddy. That's very sexual. That's not what I meant. I want to drive the golf cart. Although, I mean, whatever. Like, everybody's golf VR was half dating sim already. Let's just go all the way and make it full on fucking sim. Whatever.
Yes.
But I want to drive the golf cart from hole to hole because, dude, driving in VR is fun. And like, you just like, casually drive around. You can make it optional. Why not, man? Why
Open
not?
world golf game.
I'm down. We just play in the city streets and shit. It's like we just set up holes in the middle of like Broadway. I don't know. Just saying. Multiplayer.
That's a great pick, Brian.
Well, thank
but
you,
of course, the ultimate answer has to be something that is actually possible. I think it is possible. So, not just throwing this out there with blind hope, although I am. And that is Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need Astro back in some form or another. Give me Astrobot with the PSVR2. I know that would take a lot of work though, because they'd really just have to redesign the controller. Is really the majority of it.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know if I want to sit here and talk about my complaints about Astrobot Rescue Mission, but my complaints were that you got a tool to use during a level, and that was the tool you had during that level. Like I want to collect a bunch of different tools throughout the course of my adventure, and then go into my arsenal of tools when I come up to an obstacle and go, how do I want to get through this? And obviously, kind of redesign some of these puzzles to make them, or obstacles, to make them achievable with different tools. I mean, it's just, this was always the fun with with Super Mario Brothers and all the different power-ups you would get. You could take down things different ways. If you got like Tanuki Mario, or like if you got the cape, or if you got whatever, right? Raccoon Tail, or all these different ways you could take down levels, and it was up to you. I want that kind of freedom with Astrobot. And so I think, a little bit more Astrobot, more levels, more tools at my disposal. But
open world Astrobot.
I'm not lying here, man. Like maybe a hub world, maybe a nice big hub world, Sonic Jam style, where like you get to pick these levels from, because like all you're doing right now is like standing out in space and selecting a world. Yeah, I would like a hub world. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna revisit. I'm gonna hook up my PS4 Pro. I still got that thing, luckily. So I look forward to jumping back into Astrobot, Skyrim, some of these games we're talking about here, because that's the one unfortunate thing, is that like not every game got ported that deserved to be ported got ported like I was hoping for.
Yeah, and we're still, obviously in PSVR2's infancy. We're seeing developers constantly say, "Hey, if we had the means to port our game, we would." End Dreams keep saying that about Fracked. Out of the blue, we just got the announcement of the Room VR Dark Matter, right? So they're trickling out, like it's happening. Yeah. And I think as we get more port studios like VR Monkey, who are willing to be like, we'll just port your game for you over to PSVR2, that I think we'll see it. Like you said, it's just not
VR
happening.
Monkey doing the Room VR Dark Matter? There's no way they ported that.
I don't believe so. But I have no idea who ported it. I don't know if it was Fireproof doing it themselves. I don't know if VR Monkey's actually done any PSVR2 ports, but as we know, they were the reason we had so many games at the end of the PSVR1 lifespan. We only got Yuki because of them. We only got Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife because of them. We only got Windlands 2 because of them. Right? So there was a good amount of games near the tail end of the PSVR1 lifespan that, regardless of the game's quality, two out of 7 ain't bad. I was gonna say we got some great versions of those games. So hopefully VR Monkey and other studios like them will continue to do this throughout the course of the PSVR2 lifespan, and eventually, hopefully, we'll look back and only miss a couple games instead of hundreds of games. Like my number one, AJ. Everybody say it with me.
Oh no!
Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher.
Oh no!
What I consider to be a top 10 PSVR1 game. Everybody, it is so good. It delivers everything I want from a video game. I just want a little bit more, and so give these guys some more time, some more money, and I think we would have a hit on our hands. There's not.
I wonder
too
if
much.
people would still hate it if it was on PSVR2 and had, I feel like people would probably still hate it.
Well, but
they'd have to fix that bug. The 1.5 update would just have to fix like the bug in it.
what was the bug? Remind me.
Fighting the tentacle monster thing.
Oh, right. The underground thing where it just wouldn't die. Yeah.
I watched people go insane playing that, and I was like, you know what? It's time to let this go.
Yeah, well, as part of my 1.5 patch or 1.5 update, yes, I would obviously like all the bugs to be fixed, but I would also like them to be able to achieve their original vision, because I was talking to Viva Games quite a bit leading up to this and post launch. It seemed they were explaining to me what Cookie Pie's initial role in there was, like that she was supposed to be an arms dealer, and that's where you were supposed to go to her to like buy weapons and whatever else. Like it was supposed to be, they just had all these grander visions for the game. And I think if they could get in there and like actually, deliver on some of the story elements that people were unhappy that didn't get resolved, it would have to be, they'd have to tack on a couple more hours to this game, but it would be fine because they just did so much cool shit in this game that I would just be really, really sad if we don't get this on PSVR2 in some way, shape, or form. Steve Irie says, does that studio even exist anymore? They haven't responded to my emails in like 2 or 3 years, so it's been a while since I've talked to anybody over there, but stranger things have happened.
Jay, are you satisfied with this list, with our picks, or are you just like feeling like Brian's incredibly selfish with his picks?
That's how it goes.
I'd play the shit out of Immortal Legacy 1.5. Immortal Legacy. Good times. Brian, I think it's that time.
Oh my God, is it that time? Hold on, I just got to bring up the game that I'm thinking of. Do you want to explain to people how this game works for all the? But newbies?
I got a hell of an outro for us today, though. This is PSVR 20 questions, where Brian is going to pick a game. We rotate, but today is his turn to pick a game, and I have 6 minutes with your help to try and guess this game. It could be a PSVR1 game. It could be a PSVR2 game, but it must exist, and it must be on the platform and playable and available on one of those. And this is where we test our PSVR knowledge, our PSVR noggins, and try to overthrow the government named Brian.
Can't we just overthrow the regular government? All right, man. I've got my game. It's all up and running here, ready to go. So, guys, this is way harder than you think it is. There's way more PSVR1 games and PSVR2 games than you think there are. And it's so easy when they're forgettable. It's so easy to forget all of them. Okay, man. Here we go. On your mark, get Des, go.
Could you just give me a hint?
Maybe. It might
is
be
it on
forgettable.
PSVR2?
No, it's not.
I knew it would be. It's going to be some fucking generic, like really hard. Have we talked about it today?
No, we have not.
Okay. That eliminates at least a good chunk of games. This is going to be something from like, did it come out in either 2018 or 2019? Because you love to do that shit to me.
No, it did not.
Okay, good. I know it's kind of random. Does it use the DualShock 4?
I believe.
Oh God.
No, it does not.
That's not good.
It does not use the DualShock 4, and I will say I'm surprised by that. According to the PlayStation Store.
Oh my goodness. Is it a puzzle game?
Yeah, I think you would classify it as a puzzle game. That's 5.
As Indie Souls loves VR says, is it AJ's favorite genre, a puzzle game, by the way? you would classify it as a puzzle game. It doesn't use. You said it doesn't use DualShock 4, right?
Correct.
Oh God, it's gonna be something so bad and obscure. Is this a bad game?
It's not a good game.
He always does this to me, man. Makes me try to find some shit game from like. Did it come out? Did it come out within the last year?
No.
God dang. Did it come out within the first year?
No.
God damn, I wasted like 5 questions on the fucking year.
Well, I mean, at this point, you should know roughly when it came out.
Yeah, I think it came out between 2020 and 2021. At least I know it came out between 2020 and 2021. Is it... Oh, God. It's a puzzle game. Uses the moves. Is it... does it have a famous voice talent in it?
No.
Not like famous, but like a popular voiceover artist or a voice person.
No, not to my knowledge.
Voice actor.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think you would know if it was D-Magnet. I think you would have said yes.
It's not D-Magnet.
Oh. Is it published by Perp Games?
It is published by Perp Games. That's 10.
Are you in a wheelchair?
I think that's I think that's really inconsiderate of you to ask.
Is your character okay?
Yes, your character is in a wheelchair. Seriously?
Are there any other wheelchair games that came out? I owe this one to Looper here.
Yeah, seriously, Looper. What's going on over there?
Is this game gravitational? And fuck you for picking this game.
Hey, you got it in 12. Yes, this game is gravitational. Gravitational by God damn, what's the name of this dude? Electric Monkeys, who had never made another PSVR game before. They've got another game coming out this year on Steam called Hired to Die.
I was close with D-Magnet because I think these came out around the same time, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a high point in the PSVR1 lifespan.
No,
it wasn't a time we look back on fondly. That's for sure.
It's a point that didn't exist in my memory.
Yeah, for anyone who's like, man, Brian's hosting these Perp Games showcases. There's no way he's going to review these games poorly. Here you go. Nice. Yeah, gravitational. Not fun. Not fun.
No.
Nope.
I surprisingly played it for like a few hours, I think, or like 2 hours.
Yep, I beat it. Was not a fan.
Sorry.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Love Perp Games, but yeah, I'm so glad they're like getting much better deals. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You gotta. This is what led to them getting their foot in the door and getting, building a library, getting some bigger titles. I'm so glad they're where they're at now versus where they were.
For sure. And they still have stinkers here and there. Because I mean, I'm sure that these deals are made like early in development where you're like, oh, that looks like it has potential. That's great. Good luck. Here's some money. And then like, oh, we're so sorry. We were wrong.
Dan Keeper says Brian was out for blood every time with me, man. Because he knows I know most of the games. So he's got to make it like extremely difficult. I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna get you back, homie.
Well, hey, listen, as long as Looper's also on my side, it seems like there's no chance in hell you're gonna get me. Because dude, come on, 10 questions in, all you knew that it was a puzzle game that came out around 2020, like 2020, 2021. Like that's all you knew. And so the fact that Looper had that,
well, that wasn't a good game.
True, but we also had a lot of those.
I think be honest, Looper, did I spark something in your brain when I said D-Magnet? Did it take you back to those dark times? And you're like, what other? Yeah, those were crappy times with D-Magnet and gravitational and award-winning gravitational, Brian.
Oh my
Show
God.
some respect.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. So with that, I'm going to remind everybody to come hang out with us over on Discord, where I spend far too much time each and every day. Also, make sure you subscribe to AJ over at PSVR Underground. Thank you, everybody who helps this channel run, including all my moderators, Jay Meow, Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry, everybody who supports the channel financially, not just here being a member, but also over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. We appreciate you very, very much. And of course, all the people who hang out in the chat and tip and pay for pizza and, you know, the electric bill and stuff. Really, really appreciate you. But also, everyone who also hangs out, shoots the shit, helps with 20 questions, and all those out there who sit back, watch the show, and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Oh shit, it's Monday. Do we have to cue the cat?
Brian, it's been 2 weeks, right?
Something like that, yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while.
So cue the motherfucking cat, because I want to say, see you guys on Wesday. To Rody the Gamecat Army General, posting a link to the Discord. Make sure you join our Discord. It's awesome. It really is. Not joking. One of the greatest people ever.
And it's the greatest people ever. And Brian.
PlayStation Addicts, I love your name. And I am one as well. Flame Hat the Game Cat, Fire. Good to see you, man. Bob Zarkov, the Underground Game Cat Elite Name Squad in the house. Awesome Tatum says pizza, huh? I heard it. Man, don't get me started to think about pizza. That's the last thing I need right now. Twitcher, the single player game cat, says, I remember being intrigued about the concept of being in a wheelchair in VR. Shame it wasn't a good game. Peter Venables, good night to you as well, my friend. Mark Pringles, Leaf, popping it always. Thank you, man. Glad you enjoyed it. Joshua Taylor says bye. Robert Lawrence, let's see here. It says, guys, Google search PS5 3D movies petition. Please sign the petition. Robert Lawrence, guys, wants you to go out, Google search PS5 3D movies petition, and sign the petition. That will not work. But I wish it.
remember my petition to get new move controllers?
we had a petition for joysticks with move controllers. We had a petition for Subnautica. It doesn't work.
But don't stop trying. That's the important thing.
Maybe I should tell you to stop trying, so you could be something productive. Do something productive instead. GC13, the Diet Pepsi cat. Listen, I just try to be honest here. Said, what is the hate for the curing the cat? What is the hate? What is with the hate for curing the cat? I don't know who said that.
Oh, I think
they don't exist.
Because I was so here's the deal. I run the show while I'm trying to host the show, and so it probably seemed like I was like, oh, we have to cue the cat. I wasn't ready, right? I didn't have it all queued up and ready to go, and so that's where that sound of disappointment came from. So just to clarify.
I think I'm gonna have to side with GC13 here, Brian.
Yeah,
for once. Look what you made me do.
I was gonna say this can't go right. What did she say?
Gabriel Double for the license to meow game cat and meow meow. Meow, 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 meow. Guys on fist bump to you. Mind Jive, see Silver Nexus, my dude, Distracted the Game Cat, Dan Kiefer, all of y'all, lovely people like Goody, damn it, Goody, Robert Lawrence with the 10 dono.
Thank you, Robert. We appreciate you. Love you very much.
Look at his avatar. He's got like a logo for his name. He's like a fucking superhero. Look at that. It's crazy.
I'm going to go over to Robert Lawrence's channel and watch everything he has, just because the logo is so snazzy, as my grandmother would say.
Are we in the post-credit scene now, Brian?
Oh, baby. We've been post-credits for like a minute now.
Oh, man. We're post-credits and hard.
Hard?
Dude.
Wow.
I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised with this.
Okay, so
I'm not super surprised.
Yeah.
We did get an Immortal Legacy reference during the games.
Who had that on their bingo card?
No, I'll tell you what I did have on my bingo card, and you made me lose, was no mention of Blind Spot. and no mention of Golem? Really?
Listen, Golem almost made the list. I love Golem, but here's what I feel about Golem. Golem is already a complete game. I don't need a 1.5. I just need that to get ported. Oh. And actually, I feel that way about Blind Spot too. I just want to port a Blind Spot, and so I felt like that's a conversation for another day. I
just had to throw that out there because I was like, these are the most Brian-esque games that exist on PSVR.
They really are. I think it's less about being Brian-esque games and more about being my memory's fucking garbage, and I can only remember like 2 games from my entire PSVR1 history, and those are the ones that stuck. So my apologies, everybody, if I talk about the same games every week. It's just that my memory's garbage. I've taken too many drugs. I've drank way too much. I've only got 2 brain cells left, and each one of them is holding on to one PSVR1 game. I'm sorry.
And GC13 is celebrating me siding with her, so I'm gonna
retract that statement.
So I'm gonna retract that and side with you, Brian.
Thank you. I think it's only fair.
Say that you're right.
All right, bingo.